All 5 lights are on, and we go green in Moscow. It's a lot of wheel spin again from Verne. That could give PK an opportunity as they come down towards turn 1, and it does. PK's on the inside line and into the lead of the race. Right behind him is Lucas Di Grassi, but it's PK, Verne, Di Grassi as they make their way through the first corner. Nice and wide as we go on board with Sam Bird. Looks like he's lost out. Well, no, he's just behind Salvador Duran still. Up into 2, the bumpy section of the circuit. Daniel Abt has made his way past Jerome D'Ambrosio, but this is where it tightens up as they swing through the left-handers. Are we all going to get through here safely? It looks like it so far. There's D'Ambrosio, then it's Prost, then it's Heidfeld, then going out wide there is Justin Wilson trying to go around the outside of Antonio Felix da Costa. Really strong move from Justin Wilson.
Brilliant move by Justin Wilson. You're using some of his IndyCar experience, use the outside line and make a load of places up. Well done.
As they file through the chicane at Gosnay-Devore for the first time. Going straight on there is Loic Duval. He had a shunt there this morning in free practice, so maybe he's decided just to not bother with the chicane and then he'll be able to make it through.
Discretion being the better part of Valor right there.
Exactly. Are we going to have any lunges going into the hairpin?
There was one.
Jarno Trulli trying to get past. Oh, and there's Tonio Liuzzi going right to the outside of Duval, trying to go around the outside of Duval. He's going to run out of room there. Now they come through across the line to complete lap 1. So that's the finish line just on the exit of that corner. They're now already on lap 2. Coming down into the left-hander and out onto the start straight again. We're on board with Jean-Eric Verne, second place, just like Punta del Este. Too much wheel spin at the start. PK says, thank you very much.
PK's great job. He must be looking back, seeing Jean-Eric Verne behind him right now, thinking, okay, I've gapped the championship leaders here, or the guys that are chasing me rather. Here we go.
Yeah, PK is the man leading the Formula E Championship at the moment. 2 points clear of Buemi, but Buemi is down in 4th position. But we're only in the early stages. Look at this side-by-side action. I think that's Da Costa battling with Trulli.
Trulli's going forwards. This is, normally Jarno qualifies well and then has some issues. He's going forwards. He passed Justin Wilson a couple of corners ago there in a nice move in turn 11. So he's trying to make stuff happen here. And
I think actually Trulli has just been passed by Salvador Duran. So he started 9th and at the moment has dropped to 11th, Trulli, but he's having some good squabbles in there. There he is in the pale blue and white car with the white and blue Andretti of Justin Wilson tucked in right behind. And what a shot that is as they come through turn 11 and out in front of the Kremlin and St. Basil's Cathedral. A little bit of a touch there maybe from Antonio Felix da Costa in the blue Hamlin car as he tries to get past Justin Wilson in front of him. But there's 0.8 of a second between PK Jr. in first and Verne in second, then half a second back to Lucas Di Grassi in 3rd place. So Verne, whilst he wanted to sort of disappear and leave the championship rivals behind him, he's now very much in the middle of that fight.
Yeah, that wheel spin cost him a lot there. You were asking how important the start was earlier. It just shows you it's so important to get every little part right. And he's got his work cut out because passing is going to be a premium today. And it's so easy to make a mistake. All these bumps on this part, especially this part of the course that they're at right now.
Now, a bit of a slide there from Buemi, and then it's a bit of a gap back to Daniel Abt, who's running in 5th position. You can see the order there on the left-hand side. And Justin Wilson still stacked up behind Jarno Trulli as he tries to find a way past. The race leaders already down to the Gosnay-Devore chicane, named after the old merchants market that's at this chicane. Now has been turned into a massive exhibition centre with a huge glass roof. It's a stunning structure, but it's PK who is leading the way here in Moscow.
Sam Bird's made a couple of spots up there, gone from 12th to 9th so far. So he's had a terrible day so far. Hopefully he can make something happen in the race because just utter frustration this morning for him.
PK sets the fastest lap of the race, a 13.0, 0.2 of a second quicker than anyone else out there. A very strong performance from the Brazilian so far. And the other thing to watch out for, of course, as ever, is the energy management. We'll be getting battery percentages throughout the race, and who can manage their energy best. PK got a lap more than anyone else in Berlin. Everyone pitted on the same lap except PK and his Team China teammate Charles Pic. They stayed out 1 extra lap, and as a result were able to go much quicker in the second stint, and that's how PK managed to climb up the order. Spoke to Hans-Jürgen Abt, the boss of the Abt squad, and said, can he do that again? And Hans-Jürgen said, no, we've got it covered. We can do whatever he can do. So that'll be interesting to see.
But he's done it a couple of times this year. Every race I've been at, certainly you've looked at the power used, the usable power left, and he's always had that advantage. And he's doing something different in the car while maintaining the lap speed that the other guys aren't able to do. You can see there's a bit of lift and coast going on there. Not massive amounts.
At the moment, the top 4 look pretty equal in terms of that. Here's a look at the start again. You'll see the wheel spin and the smoke coming off from the back of Jean-Eric Verne's car. It was a pretty clean start throughout, But just watch Vern here on the left-hand side. You can see the back end going as well. D'Ambrosio got a bad start too. That's why he lost out. But that was an open goal for Piquet. Down into the left-hander of turn 1. De Grassi slotting into third, 3 wide further back. But they all just about make it through safely. Very well behaved, and up through the kinks further on. And there you can see it.
Just smoked the tyres, and that was all she wrote, really. Yeah, as wide as it is on the entry and exit to turn 1, if they made a mistake there and got together, there'd have been some words, I would imagine, because it is so wide on exit there.
This is a look on board with Nelson Piquet, and it was clear in front of him, but managed to just, well, it remained, got even clearer in front of him as he came down into turn 1.
That's a great view right there, isn't it?
Yeah. We've had Tonio Liuzzi come into the pits for the Trulli team, so not quite sure what's happened to Tonio. Hopefully we'll try and find out, but he has come into the pits, which is a shame. He started at the back of the field and is now running at the back of the field. Now look at the energy usage here, and it's pretty similar. Sebastian Buemi, if anyone, has a slight advantage over the rest of the pack, but only by a couple of percent. So in these early stages, we're on lap 6 of 35 already. As Nelson Piquet sets another fastest lap of the race, a 1 minute 12.495. His gap back to Vern is now up to 2.1 seconds, with De Grassi tucked right up behind Jean-Eric as we go on board, coming down into the first corner. And I think that was on board with Nick Heidfeld right up behind Prost in front of him.
This is D'Ambrosio, I think, on Daniel Abt, it looks like. Yep. Oh, just had a bit of a coast. Yeah,
this is D'Ambrosio we're on board with, isn't it? In 6th position, battling with Daniel Abt in front of him.
If he hasn't made the pass there, it's probably not going to happen for a good bit now, because there really is nowhere to pass until probably turn 11. But he looks like he's certainly getting held up a little bit. Look at the car moving around on the bumps and just sliding ever so slightly.
Now, this is an interesting new graphic we've got for you. These two in the battle, you can see the kilowatt of power that they're using in their fight. So you'll see D'Ambrosio's doing about at 146 to 148, and Abt is pretty similar actually. Looks like they're running on a similar power usage at the moment.
Everybody's behaving themselves right now. It's early in the race. They're just sort of settling in, getting everything, getting lay of the land. I expect business to pick up a little bit as things go on.
Nelson Piquet's been on the radio talking to his team and saying, I want to be leading the race, but I don't want to use too much energy. And at the moment, he is using kind of the most of the field, not by a huge amount, but certainly more so than we saw when he was managing his times in Berlin. And he's got a 3.1 second advantage up at the front. He's setting the fastest lap of the race.
By a second.
But will that come back to harm him? That's going to be the question that Piquet has to try and deal with. This is 2nd, 3rd and 4th, all in a queue. Vern, De Grassi and Buemi. We've got De Grassi's team radio open. That's what that symbol means at the top. And so when De Grassi talks, we hear it.
Big gap between Buemi and Daniel Abt there. Some 3.6 seconds right now. So those front 4 are really separating themselves from the trailing pack.
And Piquet's extended his lead by a second on this lap alone, and we're only after 2 sectors. So Nelson Piquet is absolutely hurtling away up at the front, presumably whilst everyone else is getting a bit caught up by the looks of things behind Jean-Eric Vern.
Yeah, that would appear to be the way things are going. But yeah, another second that lap. So right now, the worst thing that could happen to him is a safety car. And the rest of them are thinking exactly the opposite, obviously.
On board with Jean-Eric Vern. Down towards the left-hander of turn 1, where they swing left out onto Kitai-Grodzki. Didn't quite catch what Nelson was saying there.
Watch out the temperature. If it goes up, you'll have to go on to the front.
Brake balance, talking about?
Yeah, maybe.
Sounded like going to the front. Jean-Eric Vern, one of his real Achilles heels this year, so has been energy saving. He seems to have got the hang of it.
15.3.
Yeah, it certainly looks as though Vern is running quite high there and getting out of shape on the way into the chicane.
Yeah, there's a bit of a jump there, and he pulled over hard to the left at the same time. He's looking down there. It looks like he was looking at maybe changing the map position as he was coming through there.
So there you can see Piquet now has 5% less than Sebastian Buemi in 4th position. So Buemi's kind of doing a Piquet really, considering the last couple of races, and just saving his energy, sitting behind this fight in front of him as they come down into the left-hander. So as they come across the line, Buemi has 59% of energy remaining. So we'll compare that to the next lap. and see how much he uses.
PK just lost 7/10 that lap.
Well, because he's right behind Sam Bird and he's trying to get past the Englishman, and now he has managed to do so. So I don't know whether that
gave him a
was the
little
issue.
wave there. No, I think I've got a funny feeling he's thought, "Ooh, I'm maybe using a little too much." Especially his default is to really save compared to the other guys.
Up into Soraya Square once again through this sequence of left-handers, and then out and up the hill, Macau style.
So important to get that whole sequence right.
13.5.
Again, that's a PK.
Yeah, you got to get that whole sequence right, because one leads into the next and it carries the momentum all the way up that hill, which is can be difficult for the cars. And any loss of momentum, you definitely pay for in lap time and use of energy. Now they're going to catch Sam here before turn 11. Is he going to get out of the way? He's having just a terrible weekend, isn't he?
Yeah, he's been into the pits, and I'm not 100% sure why. Oh, Lucas de Grassi almost tapping the back there of Jean-Eric Verne as they come into the final corner now. And out across the line to start lap number 10 of 35 here in Moscow. And, well, I think it looks like it's about 5 or 6% a lap by the looks of things, because Buemi was down to about 5 or 6% less than when he came across the line previously. So if he's got a 5% advantage, then the other thing to consider is if you come into the pits with 4%, it means you can't do a lap.
Yep.
But if you come in with 6%, maybe you can do a lap. It's not about saving one whole lap.
How accurate is that system, though?
Well, it's the telemetry that comes off.
But that's what I'm saying. How accurate is that telemetry? Because it's one thing if you're doing a pit stop and putting fuel in the car, then you can short fuel, it take less. But when you're actually swapping cars, as you say, there's not much point going in with less.
Oh, and there's a look up the inside from Jaime Alguersuari going past Antonio Garcia coming into turn 3. So that's Alguersuari taking 13th place away. Wasn't really expecting to see overtakes there, but
caught him sleeping a little bit, didn't he? That was nice.
And now Bruno Senna is going to be trying to follow through. Antonio Felix da Costa is trying to get up into the top 10 and past Jarno Trulli in front of him. So you've got good battles going on throughout the order as this queue continues. But as we've seen so often this season, it tends to be... But look at that, even de Grassi now has got way more energy than Piquet. So I'm very surprised to see Piquet pushing this hard.
Buemi, 8% more.
Yeah.
Huh.
That looks like it could really work out for Sebastian Buemi here.
And Jaime Alguersuari is 37%, so he's really using it too.
Yeah, he's just trying to gain track position, I imagine. Having started down in 17th place, it's not worth him conserving the energy. He's got to try and get as much track position as possible in the early stages of the race. So it's a 3.4 second advantage that Piquet has over this battling trio behind.
Nobody's used fan boost yet, right?
No.
I haven't seen anybody use it.
And Piquet has it out in the lead. Verne doesn't have it in second place, but then de Grassi and Buemi both have it. But that's the sort of thing that could really help you on an in-lap, for example.
Just what I was thinking, to make that gap up.
As Buemi now has almost 10% more than Nelson Piquet, and de Grassi is running in third place, still tucked right up behind Jean-Eric Verne.
You really wouldn't use the... you would try and keep that fan boost if there was a safety car.
Yeah.
That's probably the key, to keep that as a sort of a defense or an attack if there is a safety car. So you might not end up using it in that the first car at all.
Cross down towards the left-hander at turn 1 once again, and out up towards Soraya Square. You can see there is a big gap back to Daniel Abt, as you were saying, who still has Jerome D'Ambrosio tucked right up behind him. And then Prost and Heidfeld are battling as they were in Beijing. No one's upside down yet, though, so that's a positive as they crest the hill at 2 and then into the right-hander. And then we wait for Sam Bird to come through. Now he's a lap down. And then it's Abt, then it's D'Ambrosio, then it's Prost. The three of them, and with Heidfeld as well, all pretty much line astern. Jarno Trulli is still holding up de Costa, Wilson, Alguersuari in the gang. In 10th position at the moment.
Do you see how little the cars are moving compared to qualifying? It's like that extra 50 kilowatts really makes the cars get lively on the bumps. You know, we saw Karun Chandok spin coming up turn 6 there.
Oh, lock up there from Jerome D'Ambrosio. Manages to get it back in and not lose too much time. This is a replay now of Jarno Trulli with Antonio Felix da Costa right up behind him. Whoa, and he's gone to the inside line at the chicane. That's brave stuff from da Costa, and he forces his way through. Right, I mean,
I
Trulli
did
goes...
not expect a pass there, did you?
And then, and then, well, they've been swapping positions for ages, Trulli and Da Costa, so that might have been after that. As we go on board with Wilson, okay, that was an old one, so that was Da Costa trying to get past Trulli early on, and then now has he got past, or did Trulli go straight on at the chicane and hold the position? We'll try and keep an eye out as they come through shot now.
Looks like they're not exactly feeling too good about each other at this point. It's, yeah, they're a very aggressive place to pass turn 7.
And here they're still going at it, so Da Costa made the move on Trulli. I think Trulli's gone straight over at the chicane and held onto the place, which to me seems a little bit dodge.
Yeah, you're probably not allowed to do that. I would say, but let's see if he tries it again here.
Yeah, let's
It's a
see.
big
As
move.
he tucks right up behind the back of the Trulli car.
No, I would be surprised if he manages this one. No. Maybe a move into 11. What do you reckon? Is he setting up? He's got to get off this chicane if he's making that move. It looked like he got off there quite well.
He was tucked right up behind Jarno Trulli as they come through the left kink, maybe a little far back.
Too far back, yeah.
Because the braking zone is pretty much coming through that left-hand kink still.
But the red mist is, is down, and that means you can sometimes do superhuman things, or you think you can anyway, until they go wrong.
Through they come to start their 14th lap of the race so far. This little train forming up behind Jarno as they come across the line and into the left-hander, out onto the embankment once again, running right up close to the wall. Piquet's got 22% remaining. Buemi has 32% remaining. So the Edam's crew looking strong. Piquet looking strong in terms of track position, but he might have to do some serious saving in the second stint of the race. Now it looks as though Justin Wilson's having to defend from Jaime Alguersuari just behind this pair. They go, well, we'll try and catch a glimpse of that, but Trulli is going defensive into pretty much every corner, struggling to get the car turned in. And comes out in front behind Alguersuari? So he did manage to get past Justin Wilson, and so Jaime Alguersuari is up into 12th place. Looked like he had the outside on the run up towards turn 2, but he's managed to get the job done nevertheless, as we're back on board with Antonio Felix da Costa, so close to the back of the car in front.
But if you look at that pass between Justin there, they lost a bit of a gap, and you're going to see them now. Again, the Trulli train is going to reform, and off we go. But yeah, Trulli's been unbelievably defensive. It must get boring just being that defensive all the time.
He's done a personal best in the first sector this time around, Jarno Trulli, and he's trying to hold on to a vital championship point that would take him level with Nick Heidfeld, although Heidfeld's running a little bit further up the road, so it wouldn't in actual fact. As they come across the line, lap 15 of 35.
You can see from 10th back, the field is just starting to close up. And again, ahead of Jarno, it's all spaced out. Some gaps as big as a couple of seconds. There's a 3-second gap now between Piquet and Jean-Eric Vergne.
Up towards 2, Da Costa very dramatically trying to put off Jarno Trulli.
Da Costa's frustration level is going to be building here, and the moves are going to get more and more outrageous if he feels he's got even a chance of getting past, to get away from Jarno and to start trying to close that gap up to Salvador Duran.
He's going for it at the chicane again, is he? Antonio Felix da Costa looks to the inside line. There's going to be a touch there. Again, Trulli has to get out of it. Da Costa just about makes it through, and Trulli's still in the position. And I think Da Costa's saying,
come on.
That's twice I've made that move now, and I wouldn't be surprised if he goes all lunge-tastic down into the hairpin.
The move was on the inside there, wasn't it? If he could have got it round, but no, it wasn't doable.
But that's not...
It's not
He's
right.
overtaken him twice reasonably fairly, hasn't he?
2 big moves. Fair play. He's made 2, I think, very good moves, and Jarno just keeps doing what he's doing.
So out onto embankment they come again. Lap 16 of 35. Piquet still leading the way. 3.2 seconds clear, but he's just dipped into 10% of energy remaining. So I think this could be the final or penultimate lap that we see. I mean, that's quite an obvious thing to say, really, with 9% of energy remaining. Let's see if Da Costa goes for it into 2. Oh, thinks about it. Thought about it very hard.
Yeah, this way, Piquet's not going to make the end of the race, is he?
No.
Well,
he'll have to seriously save in the second part, because we're a couple of laps away from half distance.
With a 3.2 second lead, okay, it's starting to make a bit of sense, but yeah, I don't know. I haven't got my calculator on like you, Jack.
Well, you can
calculator.
borrow my calculator if you want.
I wouldn't know how to work it.
Back on board with.
Box and push. Okay, box. Push.
Okay, here we
Okay,
go.
so Piquet in this lap.
Copy. 1.5.
Is he going to use the overtake?
Buemi's using his fan boost, meanwhile, to try and get past Lucas Di Grassi. Di Grassi uses his as well to defend as they come down the start straight, and at the moment it remains the same by the looks of things. So it's still Verne in second, then De Grassi and Buemi in third and fourth. But Buemi obviously thought he had a decent advantage there to try and make the move stick. Didn't quite work out for him.
Nelson has not used his at all. I'm surprised he didn't use it on that in lap.
He's using it now.
Oh,
so
here we go.
Maybe on the run towards the chicane, that is.
Yeah, up the hill.
Yeah.
Makes sense, yeah. Smarter thinking than.
So Nelson Piquet Jr. has used his fan boost.
Oh, Trulli's car, not Trulli's car,
Lewis's.
Lewis's car's got some damage on the left front.
Okay, well, we've already seen him come into the pits, so maybe that's why. Yellow flag out there somewhere on the circuit. I think it's down at
Turn 1.
Turn 1. Oh, and it's a rear wing of Bruno Senna. So that is not good news for Senna, because he's probably not got much downforce, as that could call the safety car as Nelson Piquet pits. So Piquet pits from the lead of the race. That means Verne inherits the lead. You can see that the graphics here are the time in the pits. The minimum pit stop time is 59 seconds. As Piquet climbs out and gets into the next car. The little C that you see by Alguersuari and Bird in 19th and 20th places, the little C means that they have changed and are in their second car. So Verne is trying to really eke it out here. He's only got 4% to go, and that's not how a Formula E car is meant to look. Here's a look what happened. Coming down into turn 1, he's
going
miles back.
defensive there. He's going to, so you probably see a bit of an impact here in a second or two.
Oh,
No!
he just lost it.
Oh.
Lost it all by himself, Bruno Senna, on the exit of turn 1. Double yellow, because there are marshals on track to pick up that debris. Oh,
Just
a real
caught
shame.
it. Yeah.
The weekend for Mahindra gets a little bit worse. A real shame
It's
for them.
terrible, hasn't it? He's broken the suspension too, it looks like.
And now what's going on here? Verne, De Grassi and Buemi absolutely nose to tail. Buemi thinks about the inside line into the final corner. Not close enough. And Verne and De Grassi pit.
P1 when you come to the stop.
And that was Piquet's radio, I think, but Piquet should be back out in the race.
I think that was
so.
Andretti's one.
Okay.
I think that was John-Eric Verne with the Andretti team.
Okay, so into the pits comes Jean-Eric Verne. Into the pits comes Lucas De Grassi. They came in that order. Verne ahead of De Grassi, with Piquet in the lead before the pit stop window opened.
Both app cars in now. Pit lane is getting busy.
Yeah.
The problem is you get one guy's trying to come out, another guy's trying to come in, and you get these crossovers, and as narrow as pit lane is here in Moscow, that can be a little dangerous.
So here's Nelson Piquet, who should, in theory, retake the lead. His pit stop was 1 minute exactly, so a couple of seconds slower than it actually needed to be. But it's such a difficult job to get the pit stop time exactly spot on. As De Grassi now heads out. Oh, I think he might have been told to wait there, didn't he, by one of the mechanics as he exits the pit lane now, Lucas De Grassi, and rejoins the circuit. Again, 1 minute exactly the time for De Grassi. The minimum time is 59 seconds. So there is De Grassi, and there behind him is Verne. So De Grassi has got out in front of Verne. He's managed to make the leapfrog and is up into ultimately second place at the moment. But now Sebastian Buemi, from the race lead, is in the pits. He was fourth. He managed to go an extra lap compared to everyone else. So no matter where he comes out, he's going to have more power to burn, more energy to burn in this second stint.
Does De Grassi have the pace, though? Has he got the pace to get up there and to challenge Nelson Piquet?
Now look at the angle that Buemi's car is in the pits, and that's because they're right at the end of the pit lane, and it's pretty much a hairpin to get out of the pit lane again, so they have to angle it severely to the left-hand side. So where is Buemi going to come out in all of this? Everyone now is either in the pits or has made their pit stop as Piquet comes through the right-hander. De Grassi will try and hunt him down now, but it's Sebastian Buemi who's the man to be watching as he gets ready to leave the pits, takes off a tear off, gets ready. A little countdown clock there on the left-hand side, and I don't think he's going to come out in front of these guys.
What are they?
He's in there for a long time. Oh, and he's going to come out right in front of Nick Heidfeld. The two of them right together. Buemi was in there for 10 seconds longer than he needed to be.
There, yeah. Confusion? I mean,
that's really
E-dams
odd.
have been so
because
buttoned down
the
this
man
year.
was there with the clock saying go or don't go.
Maybe our timing's wrong, but looking where he came out of in the running order.
Well, he's back with Heidfeld and Abt now.
Oof. You're not going to win championships like that, are you?
No. Well, I mean, at least he's got I mean, he's already got 13% more energy to burn than Piquet.
He's
with
gonna
15
need
laps
it.
to go. But yeah, exactly. He's going to have to go for it now. Sebastian Buemi.
Yeah, this has changed the complexion of the race. Piquet's got to be so careful now not to burn too much energy. Degrassi's maybe in the catbird's feet, and Buemi's got to try and get the track position back. So, yeah, as I've just said, Degrassi is probably the one right now sitting there thinking, okay, good.
Now, this is Jarno Trulli, and right battling with him is a man called Antonio Felix da Costa. And I think
Deja vu.
yeah, I think Trulli is getting used to seeing da Costa in his mirrors. The incident involving car 55 and 10, which is da Costa and Trulli, will be investigated after the race.
Yeah, and the 18's involved in that too, which is Liuzzi, and there was some damage to Liuzzi's car, so...
Yeah, through the right-hander they come. But there is Nelson Piquet Jr. leading the race by 6 seconds. As oh, sorry, no, that's Antonio Garcia. My apologies, Garcia
Mild
going very
heart
slowly.
attack there.
Yeah, Garcia just getting out of the way of the back markers. And Piquet used to have a helmet like that until he painted it gold. So this is Nick Heidfeld running in 5th. Behind him is Daniel Abt. In front of him is Sebastian Buemi. Degrassi's just done his personal best in Sector 1. Verne has as well, and look at this, it's da Costa trying to get past Jarno Trulli. Into the left at 3, then through 4 and 5. Lap 21 of 35.
I know it's under investigation. I can't understand how you can shortcut the chicane twice
Yeah.
and there not be immediate action taken, because this could be slowing down da Costa.
Well, I think it
You know,
is.
a lot.
Yeah.
You know, he could have lost seconds now stuck behind Trulli, and yeah, it just ruined his race.
Yeah, Lucas Degrassi's just done the fastest final sector of anyone, and on that lap was a second quicker than Nelson Piquet in front of him, and is 4.7 seconds behind. So, battle very much joined, I think, for the lead of the race between the two Brazilians. The squabble that we all want to see, really. Would be great if Buemi was involved too, but a very slow pit stop for Edams. The best pit stop there came for Daniel Abt. He hit 59 seconds exactly. Stefan Sarazan's under investigation because he was a second quicker than he should have been. So we may see a drive-through penalty or something. Oh, there it's literally just popped up. Drive-through penalty for car 30. Did not respect minimum pit stop time.
That's their second one. They got moved to the back of the grid too before the race. So
astonishing news from astonishing news from Edams. Edams have said that they thought the minimum pit stop time was 68 seconds,
No.
not 58 seconds. And look at the times.
No.
Buemi, 1 minute 8 seconds. Nico Prost, 1 minute 8 seconds. Meanwhile, on the circuit,
How does
we're
that
looking
happen?
at a move from Justin Wilson, forcing his way past Jarno Trulli.
But
Da Costa's got past somewhere,
Jarno
and Jarno
straight
does his sore shortcut.
maybe he's been allowed to drive a different track than anybody else today.
Well, Da Costa's managed to get through at some point, so he's
Love
up
to see
into
that.
10th place.
He has worked on it now for 22
Yeah.
laps, so it'd be nice to actually see how he made that pass.
But that is absolutely astonishing from Edams. They thought it was 68 seconds, not 58 seconds. Both of their drivers did a 68-second pit stop and have lost 10 seconds. Here's where Da Costa got past Trulli on the run-up into 2, and he's thought, I'm bored of this.
Yep, out of my way. Nice, very nice pass there.
And no Mario Kart shortcut for Trulli there.
But it's not like Edams to make mistakes.
No,
They are not. They're a championship-winning team. So to see them do that, there had to be a reason, and there you go.
It's the only one that makes sense because, like we say, there was a man with the watch counting them down. So, well,
Degrassi is eating into Piquet's lead here, down to 3.5 seconds.
yeah, that's going to be fun, isn't it? In the remaining 13 laps of this race, we're on board with Sebastian Buemi, who, I mean, I wonder if he knows even what's going on, but Alain Prost, a shake of the head.
Degrassi and Piquet the same lap time there.
Team radio is open for Sebastian Buemi, so if we hear him speak, we will let him. It'll be in French. But he's just giving energy readings there as he comes down into the left-hander and out onto the embankment once more. But Degrassi has just set the fastest final sector of anyone on that last lap. But it was matched by Piquet, so they both did a 12.4 on that last lap, and Piquet has managed to preserve his energy so that he's only got 4% of a deficit at the moment to Lucas Degrassi. It's a fascinating fight going on. Also, we'll keep an eye on Antonio Felix da Costa's pace. Now he's cleared Jarno Trulli. He was a second quicker than Jarno Trulli on that last lap. Now he's got past. Lap 24 of 35. That is Nick Heidfeld running in 5th position, looking to equal his best result of the season so far, which was last time out in Berlin.
And truly is still ahead of Justin Wilson, having taken his special shortcut yet again. It's unbelievable.
I mean, you know, I do try and remain impartial, but I don't quite understand how that's cool.
Yeah, exactly. I think impartiality is one thing, but when it's clearly ridiculous, what can you say?
Jaime Alguersuari has just been given a drive-through penalty. He's gone over the maximum power. But we can now hear from Alain Prost. Let's see if we can get to the bottom of what on earth happened to Edams out there.
So, Alain Prost, what was the miscommunication there about minimum pit stop times?
Very clearly, we planned to do a pit stop in 68 seconds, which was exactly 68. But I don't know what happened with maybe with a miscommunication during the briefing, team manager briefing. It's a mistake from ourselves, no way.
And a big cost to the result, potentially.
Don't know yet, but yeah, I mean, even if it's not a big cost, it's not the way to go, for sure.
Thank you.
I wouldn't want to be in that debrief tonight.
We just looked at each other and don't really know what to say to that. That is a real shame for the Edams, both of the Edams drivers, because Prost is now back behind Salvador Duran, actually. And a word for Salvador Duran, who's having a great race, up in 7th position for the Amlin Aguri team. And Antonio Felix da Costa is in 9th. So Amlin really starting to get on top of things. Sam Bird out of the race. And what a difficult weekend. And I don't think Nicky's going to get to have a chat with him, really, is he? Because
it's just been horrible. From the time the wheel fell off this morning, problems in second practice. It's been a weekend to forget. And the other Virgin car just got a drive-through penalty for exceeding maximum power use. So yeah, the Virgin team has not had a good one.
Fastest lap of the race set last time around by Nick Heidfeld in 5th position as he tries to close in on Sebastian Buemi in front of him, but he's some 2 seconds back, so he's quite by himself at the moment, Nick Heidfeld. There he is on track. He's up behind Tonio Liuzzi, but Liuzzi's a lap down. Car 21 is under investigation. Bruno Senna. Not sure what short.
For
not
having
sure
no rear wing?
Yeah, for spinning.
Yeah, I don't know.
But Buemi is pushing hard now in 4th place. That's Nico Prost, who's up behind Salvador Duran. 10 laps to go.
Nelson Piquet is keeping the lead about 3 seconds there.
Yeah, doesn't look as though Di Grassi's charge is continuing quite as much. He goes 0.2 of a second quicker on that last lap compared to Piquet. But at the moment, Nelson has got the advantage.
Definitely a shout out to Salvador Duran. He's done a very, very handy job so far. Quietly gone about his business, hasn't he? Good lap times there. And he's a fair bit behind Daniel Abt, but he's trying to eke into that. He's another 2/10 gained on that lap. But yeah, he's had a tough season, coming in late, but very, very impressive.
Yeah, and as we were saying, he arrived in Punta del Este. You can see there that Di Grassi's catching a couple of tenths a lap at the moment. But yeah, Duran arrived in Punta del Este.
13.3.
As Piquet gives a reading. I'll try one more time to talk about Salvador Duran. He came to the series in Punta del Este and hadn't driven a car for sort of 3 or 4 years, but he has an excellent track record in racing cars. He's won the Daytona 24. He's been on the podium at Monaco in Renault 3.5. Meanwhile, up at the front, Nelson Piquet only has a 3% deficit now to Lucas Di Grassi, so he's done some really good energy management there, Piquet, and this was obviously kind of the plan, to just give him that big advantage up at the front. The opposite of when he had to start at the back of the field in
12.6.
Berlin.
Yeah, and Buemi is, what, 8% behind him here, but as far as track position, just too far back now, 12 seconds back from the leader. He's not going to make that up in 7 laps, is he? Real shame.
Buemi's shout now is to get up into 3rd place, because he's lapping a second quicker at the moment than Jean-Eric Vergne, has 6% more energy available, so that could see Buemi catch Vergne before the end of the race. Di Grassi took 4/10 out of Piquet on that last lap, but the gap is only 2.8 seconds still. And you get the feeling Piquet will be keeping a little bit in the tank as well, just in case Di Grassi comes a charge.
Just look how straight Nelson drove the car and braking there. You've seen guys going over there all sideways in the brakes, and there was no drama at all with how Nelson's driving it. Justin Wilson's under attack here.
Yep, he is Loic Duval, who is right up behind him in the Dragon Kart. Duval's been through 2 front wings so far today. And he's right up behind Wilson now, who has dropped back from the back of Trulli. Maybe Trulli's taking the shortcut every lap now.
Maybe he is, yeah. It's possible. Loic Duval has done a good job getting back from... He was almost at the back there, wasn't he? P19. He's moved himself up to P12. He actually hit neutral. I think is what happened when he went around the hairpin. Rather than switch the car off, he hit it into neutral. So, yeah, again, it kind of sums up his day. But he's making a great recovery here, and he's looking to pass Justin Wilson here down into turn 11.
On board. Oh, Wilson's all out of shape. Is he going to get that one stopped? Just about. I thought he was going into the back of Jarno there for a moment as we go on board with the 2013 Le Mans winner, Loic Duval. Won it with Little McNish and Tom Christensen. As they come down into turn 13.
He's quite tall. So how does McNish reach the pedals when Loic driving the same car?
I don't know, actually. They have to cross the start line once again. 7 laps to go again. Buemi was the quickest man of anyone on that last lap. The gap is now down to 3 seconds between Verne in 3rd and Buemi in 4th. Bruno Senna has a drive-through penalty. And an incident involving Liuzzi and Justin Wilson will be investigated after the race. Not quite sure what that is, because they weren't really together on circuit at any point.
First lap. When he got the damage, I saw obviously Liuzzi had the front wing damage early.
Yeah, maybe.
Duval's been held up here by the... Obviously Justin is too by Trulli, but Loic is he's just trying to make that move.
Oh, he's out of shape on the brakes there.
Yeah, he's been doing that all day, hasn't he? Once ended up he crashed at the exit.
So the Liuzzi and Wilson issue was an overtake at the chicane. So that must have been... yeah, well, not quite sure when that refers. It must have been the opening lap or so, because Liuzzi pitted at the end of lap 2. So it must have been very early on in the race as they make their way out now across the line to start lap 30 of 35 here in Moscow. And there is Stefan Sarazan doing some donuts for the crowd. He's lost it on the brakes coming down into the hairpin. He's in 16th place all by himself, but still not great. On board with Duval again, coming down into turn 1. The gap at the front is down to 2.6 seconds.
Absolutely no coast there by Duval. Did you notice that? Straight from off the throttle onto the brake.
He's got, look how much, he's got 11% more energy than Jarno Trulli in 10th place. That's why these two are getting so frustrated, because there's 1 championship point up for grabs, and they've got Trulli driving around who hasn't been able to keep hold of his energy, just like in Berlin. They said, the Trulli team told me that they'd figured out the setup problem that had cost them all that energy in Berlin, but at the moment it doesn't look like it's working out for Jarno.
But he keeps taking a shortcut too every time somebody does pass him, so yeah.
So he should have more energy, really.
You'd think so if he kept cutting out 3 corners of the track.
Down through turn 10 into the hairpin of 11 again, and so how frustrating are situations like that? I'm sure you never had them because you could just get past anyone, but
no.
How frustrating is it?
I would have made a mistake by now and crashed into either the guy in front or the wall at this point, which is easy for me to say nowadays. We've got a 2.5 second lead between first and second between Piquet and De Grassi right now. It's 5 laps to go. I don't see that being closed up, do you?
No, it's 1.9 seconds between them as we have a look back. Oh, okay, so it was Sarazan trying to get past Jaime Alguersuari coming down into the hairpin, and he's just locked the rears as he tries to get the car stopped, trying to get 15th place away, and away he goes.
Nice donuts.
Yeah, should do some more of them, actually. Here's a look at it again. Oh, very late in the day. Oh, I don't know if that was intentional, actually, or whether the rear started to get away from under braking.
Judging by what I felt this morning, the rear really gets away from you all the time there, and if you just take it a little too deep, you're going to have the same problem that Stefan Sarazan just had.
1.7 seconds now, the gap between Nelson Piquet and Lucas de Grassi with 4 laps to go. That last lap, 0.7 of a second, came out of Piquet's advantage. Still, I don't think it's going to be touch and go, but de Grassi is doing his best to close in. He wants to take victory, because if he...
brave enough to use fan boost?
Well, yeah.
To close the gap. Are the calculators out, ladies and gentlemen?
Yes, yes, the calculator's down. We'll see what happens. They've still both got a fan boost left as they come down into the chicane. De Grassi in that first sector was the same. Second sector, he closed in by 1/10 of a second.
That's the kind of spot you can make it up there just by carrying a bit more speed than the car in front. You're not using any more power. Just he's still coasting through that last corner. De Grassi rather than Piquet.
Yeah.
So it's yep. neck and neck right now, 1.6 still.
Di Grassi into the final corner. Did he take much time out this time through? No, only a 1/10 of a second that time. So it seems to ebb and flow really, but there's only 1.6 seconds between them. 3 laps to go now.
53, gap 1.6. 53, 1.6.
Almost identical lap times there.
Yeah. 3 laps to go here on the streets of Moscow. A wonderful venue for a race. And it's been a very entertaining race at that. Up over the crest at turn 2 into Staraya Square. Oh, you can hear them. I think that was clouting the curbs there, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was the end plates of the front wing as they clouted the curb. Up the hill here, look at that. You can really see the undulation of the track. Up here, coming to break into turn 7, into this really tight chicane. Lucas locking up just a little bit on the way in there. Oh, we've lost another wing.
Oh, and that is Jarno Trulli's. Jarno Trulli's rear wing has gone. And that is at the hairpin, so I think someone might have tried to force their way through. Oh my goodness, it's Duval. Oh, and he's gone on the back of him.
Oh, poor Justin lost out too.
Well, that's sort of good news for Justin, because now he's got both places, but...
Yeah, it's...
Oh, that was a bit unfortunate, really, wasn't it?
For Justin.
Yeah.
And Loic. I mean, truly, honestly, the straight line on the chicane like that is not on, really. So obviously he's got to come in for a new back wing with Jarno Trulli. Loic's not going to... he's not going to change it, though. He didn't damage it. So.
No, it looks like he can stay out there.
Yes.
PK up into the right-hander. Yellow flag still out. I presume that's down at turn 11 still.
It is.
But PK it is, leading the way on now the penultimate lap of the race, looking to take his 2nd race victory of the season. Di Grassi is chasing him.
2.5.
As they come into the chicane, that was PK radioing in.
Nelson got close to the pit wall, the wall on the exit there of the chicane. I think with the amount of lead he's got, he'd just give a little bit more margin, but he's leading the race and I'm sitting here, so he's probably doing it just right.
If things stay like this, Nelson Piquet will extend his championship advantage to 12 points over Sebastian Buemi, and Buemi will just be 2 points in front of Di Grassi.
Buemi.
But the battle is really on for 3rd place on this final lap. Can Sebastian Buemi claim a couple more points? Piquet starts his final tour of this Moscow circuit. 2.29 kilometers to go for Nelson Piquet, and Team China are looking for their 2nd win of the season. But there was only half a second between Verne and Buemi as they crossed the line. There in 2nd place is Di Grassi. Just wait for the 3rd place battle. That's the one to watch. 1st and 2nd are pretty much spread out. Duval and Trulli's incident is under investigation. Nelson Piquet on the final lap of the race, in a race that he has absolutely dominated. It was an interesting strategic choice to use loads of energy. He's only got 5% left, but a lap here is some 6%, so that's plenty remaining for Nelson Piquet Jr.
But it's a carbon copy of his Long Beach race, wasn't it? Just domination.
Absolutely. Just make the breakaway at the front. Okay, pit a lap earlier, but you've got the race position, the track position, and the advantage. Into the hairpin, in front of St. Basil's Cathedral and the Kremlin, comes Nelson Piquet Jr. He's just got one more corner to go, and then he is going to take victory in Moscow. The checker flag falls, Piquet wins.
Done, done.
2nd place for Lucas Di Grassi. Who's going to be 3rd?
Thanks, guys. Perfect day. Thank you very much.
And it's Buemi across the line in 3rd, and Heidfeld is 4th, and 5th is Jean-Eric Verne.
Everybody, every single person.
What happened there?
So,
Good job. Thank you so much. Really, I cannot express how happy I am.
sorry for cutting across Piquet's radio there, but it's all kicked off on the final lap as we thought it would for 3rd place. Buemi's wrestled 3rd away, 4th is Nick Heidfeld, and 5th is Jean-Eric Verne. So the 3 of them crossed the line, 0.8 of a second between them. So hopefully we might get a look at that, but it's Nelson Piquet who's the race winner, and that's Antonio Garcia coming across the line. It's 10th place for Justin Wilson, 11th for Loic Duval. There is Mr. Liu, the boss of Team China, and he has seen his driver take another victory, as he did in Long Beach.
Think of where Team China have come from.
So let's have a look at it again. On board with Sebastian Buemi, Oh, goodness, so he's gone in there. He's already tried to get past. He's had a little bit of argy-bargy with Jean-Eric Verne, so he's already had to go into turn 2 that we didn't see.
And he's lost momentum up the hill in the fight. No, he's catching him now.
And he's getting very, very close. Verne will defend. Buemi looks to the outside line on the brakes, contact between them, and Buemi goes straight over. He's done a trilly. Now he's slowed down.
Yeah.
To try and let Verne through. Verne hasn't come through, and then Verne's been caught out by Heidfeld.
The problem for Verne is he's on the dirty line of the track as well. He's on the outside there.
But Buemi definitely, it seems to me, slowed to let Verne back through to me.
Yeah, well, yeah, he's at least got some defence. But if it's wrong for one to go through, is it wrong for the other?
Here we go. This is Heidfeld.
Nick's got to be thinking, thank you.
As they come down into the hairpin, and that was after it all had started, really. And Heidfeld, has a little bit of a nose.
Cam. Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully the fans have enjoyed this race here in Moscow. It's been, I have.
That last lap was quite something, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Buemi setting the fastest first sector. Verne actually set the fastest. Oh no, that's his best lap. Sorry, I thought he'd set it on the last lap of the race.
See the broken wing on Duval's car and the broken nose.
Somewhere there's a camera that Duval owes us for. So I don't know who owes who in that scenario, but there's Lucas de Grassi, the man who finished in 2nd place. And that move from Buemi could be absolutely vital at the end of the championship.
De Grassi's car's running away down the hill there. 3 championship protagonists, 1, 2, 3.
All on the podium. I wonder if Buemi used his fan boost coming to try and attack.
Didn't see it.
No, it didn't come up, did it? But Nelson Piquet, the race winner here in Moscow. His 2nd win of his Formula E career, and it was just as commanding as his first. Congratulations from Sebastian Buemi. How livid will he be about Edam's unbelievable error? I don't want to be too harsh on them. They're an incredible team. Dams are an incredible team, but I've never quite seen a sort of mistake like that, I don't think.
I think the Edams boys will be hard enough on themselves after that one. Just, crazy. Look, they're straight in there with the cooling, but to get everything nice and cool, they're still thinking about looking after the battery packs and the motor for the next races. Doubleheader in London coming up.
Let's just have a look at the championship standings. It's Nelson Piquet at the top, and now he's got 12 points clear now over Sebastian Buemi. That's a strong advantage.
It is. I mean, it can go away in a hurry, but you'd rather have it than not at this point, absolutely. And I'm sure if Buemi has some issues tonight with straight line on the chicane, the hole that he's got to dig himself out of is even bigger. Yeah, that's absolutely true. The championship layout could change again depending on what the FIA decide later on. But thank you very much for joining us this weekend. Well, today in Moscow, it's been a spectacular location for a race in front of the Kremlin. From Dario Franchitti, myself, Jack Nicholls, Nicky Shields in the pits. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you for the title decider in London.